First story. My cancer-suffering daughter attempted self-harm after her narcissistic mother pulled her from Easter party photos, saying she was ugly and would ruin the mood, followed by constant bullying from school. I, 40M, have a daughter, 15F, who's going through hair loss due to medical issues. My daughter's mother and I have been divorced for 10 years. We could never get along. My daughter is supposed to be going to the doctor next month. She will be going through a lot of tests to find out the cause of this. She is losing huge amounts. It's extremely noticeable. My daughter has been very devastated by this, and I am trying to be there for her. Her hair is falling out of her head rapidly and in huge amounts. Yesterday, my daughter came home from school, and she asked me if we could get her hair cut. She told me that she's tired of her hair falling off. I agreed to it, and I had my friend come over to cut her hair. My friend is a licensed cosmetologist, and I agreed to cut her hair. So my friend shaved my daughter's hair yesterday, and my daughter's mother was pissed at me, to say the least. Her mother texted me this morning and said, "I can't believe you let her cut her hair. You know how mean kids at school can be." I responded back, "Were kids at school giving her any problems?" Her mother texted back, "No, but she could get bullied. Kids can be cruel, and you just let her go out like that." I responded, "If it bothers her that much, I'd be more than happy to buy wigs for her." She did it willingly. She was tired of stressing herself out every time her hair fell out. Her mother responded, "You could have stopped her. We have Easter photos coming up next month. Family members will see those pictures." I responded, "It seems like you care more about the photos than your daughter's happiness. She looks beautiful regardless of whether she has hair or not. What if our daughter heard you say that stuff?" I ignored her after that text. Beta. Comments. Soft Television 16329. NTA. You're supporting your daughter emotionally and financially by allowing her to cut her hair through a licensed cosmetologist to boost her confidence and by offering to purchase her wigs, if that's what she wants. It doesn't matter what her mother thinks. Your daughter is her own individual, and you are doing a wonderful job. OP, thank you. I just want my daughter to feel confident and comfortable with her head. I just hope that she feels confident too. Also, keep in mind, I'm buying wigs for my daughter just in case she wants them. I'm not saying that she needs them because she looks beautiful regardless. Update. I, 40M, have a 15-year-old daughter who recently shaved her head because of hair loss issues. This morning, my daughter and I went wig shopping and clothes shopping for the Easter pictures. My daughter called me a couple hours ago crying. I asked her what was wrong. She told me that her mother said she wasn't allowed in the Easter photos because she would ruin them. My daughter tried explaining to her mother that she could wear her wig. Her mother was saying hurtful, mean things to her. Her mother told her she was too ugly to be in the pictures. I messaged her mother, and I was pissed. I said, "You really destroyed our daughter's self-esteem over something she could not control. She is beautiful and wouldn't ruin the photos. I can't believe you said those horrible things to our daughter. You are a hateful bee and always have been. You are rude and disrespectful to everyone you meet. I am so glad that I divorced your sorry arse all those years ago. When she is an adult, she's not going to have anything to do with you, and I can promise you that." Her mother responded by demanding an apology and calling me a disrespectful piece of SHT. My daughter came to my house about an hour ago. My daughter is currently staying here because she wants nothing to do with her mother. My daughter and I took a photo together. She wasn't wearing her wig. I asked her if it was okay to post it. She said that it was okay. I posted the photo of us with the caption, "My beautiful daughter. I love you so much. You're so beautiful. Even if you can't see how beautiful you are, I see your beauty." Her mother texted me, telling me to take the photo down. I told her to pound sand. I ignored her texts because I was not in a good place to talk to her. AITA for using foul language. I usually don't talk to women like that, but she really struck a nerve. Comments. Moody Scorpio 88. NTA, your ex-wife crossed the line with your daughter. And thank goodness your daughter has a wonderful father to stick up for her. Dreaming inside. When I was 16, I lost my hair due to cancer treatment. It was devastating because I was kind of known for my hair, as it was really long and whatnot. I had someone at school say something similar to me, and my mom had the very same reaction, later posting a picture of us after reassuring me that I was still beautiful. You don't know just how much standing up for and publicly supporting your daughter means to her. It seems obvious because you're her parent, but as a teenage girl filled with insecurities, it means the world. You're a great father, and this is something she will never forget. I can guarantee you that. I don't know if this is possible, but perhaps you can fight for primary custody of your daughter. That way, your ex can't force her to go back at some point. Update. 5 days later. So here's an update. I ended up apologizing to my ex-wife for the foul language used. My daughter is still at my house and refusing to go home to her mother. Her mother called the police and reported our daughter as a runaway. An officer came to my door this morning, claiming that my daughter was running away. I explained the situation to the officer. I explained that she came to me on her own free will, and I brought up her age and the custody arrangement. I also explained that she told her mother via text where she was going, and that her mother already knew that she was here. In fact, her mother told her that it was fine to come here. It was a whole mess. The officer ended up leaving and said there was nothing he could do. He said he couldn't force her to come back. My daughter slipped into a depressive episode. My daughter has bipolar disorder and experiences highs and lows. Due to stress and recent events, she slipped into depression. I feel horrible for her. I talked to an attorney, and we have a family court date coming up. I am suing for sole custody. I'm collecting evidence that her mother is abusive. Since my daughter is 15, I think the judge should let her choose who she wants to live with. Yesterday I went to the store and got my daughter new clothes, shoes, makeup, and self-care items. I put them in a gift bag to surprise her. I'm giving the gift bag to her later on, when she wakes up. Yesterday morning, I made sure to tell her how beautiful she is. She starts therapy in 2 weeks. Comments. Awkward fortunekaki. Good daddy points. I know firsthand how devastating alopecia can be, so having a parent shred your ego worse is just unthinkable. My heart goes out to her. Updates. My 15-year-old daughter has been getting bullied at school. 3 days later, my daughter recently shaved her head due to medical issues. She was losing hair rapidly, and she's starting to lose her eyebrows too. We are going to the doctor soon to find out the cause of this. She has self-esteem issues due to being bald. I bought her a wig, and she has hats to wear. I knew something was off. I squeezed it out of her. On Tuesday, she was in class and working on her assignments. A boy who had been giving her issues all school year pulled her wig off in front of everyone. He called her ugly and said many other mean things to her. Other kids have been bullying her on social media. I am livid, and on Wednesday I was called to the school because of another incident happening. That same boy took her wig and threw it in the trash. I rushed to the school, and the boy's parents were there. The boy's parents apologized, but the boy refused to apologize. The boy who pulled off her wig got suspended for bullying. That same boy and his friends have been harassing my daughter on social media. My daughter is extremely upset and has been in tears. I do not know how to get these kids to stop bullying her. I found out that my daughter has been self-harming. I am going to try to get her admitted to the hospital. I feel lost and like I'm failing as a parent. I have no idea how to get that boy and his friends to leave her alone. I need advice. Any suggestions on how to handle this would be greatly appreciated. Comments. #Frost. You're going to have to make yourself a problem. Track down the principal, the superintendent, and if nothing changes, your local media. Be very clear that your daughter is being harassed and bullied by multiple boys over a medical condition. If you can, get in contact with the parents and let them know. Update. I filed charges against the boy who bullied my daughter this morning. By 40, my daughter has been getting bullied by this boy and his friends. He ripped my daughter's wig off and threw it in the trash. The wig had all kinds of stuff in it. I took the wig, my daughter, and the receipt to the police station and magistrate. I pressed charges for assault and destruction of property this morning. The boy's parents got my phone number and contacted me. They told me that they understood that the wig was expensive. They said he's only 15 years old, that he was a kid, and they couldn't afford to pay $600 to replace a wig. I told them that he needed to face the consequences of his actions. Comments. Sunbear 2525. I can't imagine my child doing something like this, but it would be the end of all happiness until they paid me back for the wig at least. I would sell things if I needed to pay you back. Your poor daughter. Update. Yesterday, the father of the boy who bullied my daughter called me. He got my phone number off of one of my social media pages. He called me, and he said, "I'm sorry that my son destroyed your daughter's property. I didn't say or do anything because my wife would give me an earful. I will replace her wig. I assure you, I'm putting my foot down, and my son will not be an issue anymore. I will not enable my son's or wife's behavior anymore. He will most certainly be issuing an apology to your daughter, if she's okay with it." I thanked him for his apology. He even offered to do some landscaping work at a discounted price for the trouble his son caused. At least the dad has a heart and is putting his foot down. Comments. Forkshire. Maybe I'm the paranoid type, but decline the landscaping offer unless you want them to know where you live. Update. My daughter is self-harming, and I don't know what to do. 7 days later. My beautiful 15-year-old daughter has been getting bullied relentlessly. Recently, a boy took off her wig and tossed it in the trash. People keep putting mean notes in her locker. People are yelling mean names at her in class, the hallways, and the cafeteria. I was cleaning my daughter's room yesterday, and I noticed a piece of paper on the floor. I picked it up, thinking it was trash. I saw writing on it and thought it could be something important. My daughter literally wrote a self-harm note, so she is currently in the mental hospital. I feel like I'm failing her. I shaved my head for my daughter, so she'd feel better the same day. I had hair that went down to my waist. I shaved it off and kept the hair to make a wig out of it. I wanted to surprise my daughter when she got home. I shaved it completely bald. I even shaved my eyebrows too, because she felt bad about not having any. I am giving the hair to my cosmetologist friend, who also makes wigs. When she comes home, I have a lot of surprises for her. I bought her new shoes, clothes, and makeup because she had an interest in them. I love my daughter so much that I wish I could take this pain away from her. Comments. Paladin in distress. I'm so happy that you're doing all this for her. A lot of young girls feel like they're their real selves when they feel pretty, and it's nice to see a parent, especially a dad, take that seriously. Update about my daughter. 1 day later. My daughter is currently in the mental hospital. She's been bullied relentlessly and has been very depressed. I found a self-harm note yesterday, and I discussed it with her. I had her admitted to the psychiatric hospital. I am going to visit her tomorrow. Hopefully, she'll feel better when she sees my head and eyebrows. I shaved my head and eyebrows in hopes that she wouldn't be singled out or isolated. She hasn't talked to her mother in almost a couple weeks, and I will not allow her to see her mother at all. This is because her mother was abusive to her. I hope that she feels a little bit better when I visit her tomorrow. Comments. Rebecca Oster. Good luck. I hope she loves your new style. OP. I hope she does too. She's such a beautiful girl. I hate that she feels depressed like this, and that kids have been bullying her. They left mean notes in her locker and yelled mean things at her in the hallway. They have been bullying her on social media. They have been comparing her to Kaylu and making other mean comparisons. Update about my daughter. 7 days later. My daughter is home from the mental hospital. She's been doing a little better. She was shocked when she saw my bald head. It was because she was so used to me having very long hair. She was emotional because I shaved my head for her. I love her so much. I even showed her all the support from everyone on Reddit, and it made her smile. My daughter is also on a new anxiety medication. She has been extremely tired. Considering what she's been through, of course, she's going to be tired. I am currently in the process of switching her to homeschooling. Does anyone have any advice on homeschooling? So my daughter starts homeschooling on Monday, 9 days later. Due to bullying and my daughter's anxiety, we are starting homeschool tomorrow. My friend helped me so much in figuring this out. My friend is a teacher who also had children who homeschooled. My daughter likes the idea of homeschooling a lot and is excited to start. My main concern is socialization. I'm wanting her to still make friends, etc. She has friends that she still talks to from the school she was at before. I'm wondering if there's any group in my area that is made up of homeschool kids, so she could try to make new friends. Comments. Individual Crab, 17578. Search Facebook. That's where all the homeschooling groups in my area organize their groups and events. Update. My daughter gave me the biggest hug today. I am her dad. Everyone thinks I'm her mother for some reason. I shaved my head a while back and gave the hair to my cosmetologist friend, who makes wigs too. The wig made of my hair finally came in the mail. I told my daughter that the wig was made of my hair, which I shaved off. My daughter broke down in tears and gave me the biggest hug. She made me cry too. She loved it and is wearing it everywhere. Second story. My poor sister 14F started crying after she knew I lost my virginity, then revealed her saw by our disgusting stepfather, thinking that's what happened to me. So I told my delusional mom. She's took his side and is blaming my sister for falsely accusing him. So we abandoned her, and I have no idea what to do. Sorry if I have poor grammar. English is not my first language. I 19F and my little sister 14F have always had a somewhat close relationship. She has always been my rock. She's a pretty teenager, calm, caring, understanding, and cool to be around. Due to the environment in which she grew up, my dad cheated, and our parents divorced. She was only 3 when that happened. She's something like a grown-up before ages. Her words and actions have always been very careful, like she's a real adult. There was a time when she used to bring friends home. Once I accidentally overheard her talking with her friends about wanting to be in a relationship, but without sex, Sister also showed negative reactions when she saw or heard something or someone being intimate. The thing is, I caught her watching adultery a few times before. None of the times I caught her, she was pleasuring herself, always just watching it with a straight face and no expression. To the main story. I came home after 2 years away to attend college. I stayed in my hometown for a week or so. Last night, when me and my sister were ready to go to bed, we share a room. We talked about random stuff. Then suddenly she asked if I had sex. I answered honestly yes with her. I mean, I'm already 19 and a college student, couldn't miss out on all the fun, right? After my response, my sister just silently stared at me, and then both of us went to sleep. I was thirsty and woke up in the middle of the night. The first thing I saw was my sister lying next to me. Turned her back at me and faced the wall. I could see her body trembling and hear her sobbing quietly. I didn't move. I just kept laying there and watching her. I don't think she ever noticed I was awake. I was so surprised and confused. I don't understand why she would have such a reaction like that. Comment. User. My first thoughts were that maybe she was assaulted. I really hope that's not the case, but keep an open mind and try to get her the help she needs if it is. Comment. User. She's 14, confused, hormonal, and it sounds like she may have mental issues with sex. It ruins relationships. Give her a bit of time to feel feelings, and maybe when she is calm, ask why it upsets you to find out I've had sex. Listen non-judgmentally. It could be that she needs therapy to help process her feelings towards the divorce and sex. Update. I was hesitant to talk to her because, as all of you said, it wasn't clear if she cried because of me, but I still talked to her anyway. So I sat her down and confronted her about it. I said I heard her cry last night, and I want to know why the fact that I have sex upset her. She denied it at first, but when I kept asking, she teared up and said she didn't know why. Again, some of you said the divorce might affect her in some way, so I also asked her. As gently as I could, I asked if what happened in the past was still disturbing her. She was silent. Then I kept comforting her that it's okay, and that I was here for her if she needed it. Eventually, she told me it might be when I asked her if she remembered anything, and if she could tell me. She told me. Long story short, my dad used to take us to meet his mistress, and my sister still remembers it to this day. She said there was a time Dad only took her to meet his mistress because I wasn't around. She slept there that time and got woken up by some weird noise. She was semi-awake at that point, and when she half opened her eyes, she could see the familiar figures of my dad and the mistress next to her. Now, at this point, we all know what this SHT is about. Yes, and yes, they were having sex when his 3-year-old daughter was sleeping next to them. Like what? Go F somewhere else in the bathroom or some SHT. As soon as she opens her eyes, they immediately stop, and the mistress cuddles her a little, making her fall asleep again. She said she never knew what actually happened, but was already aware of it when she was young. But as soon as she learned about intimacy, she immediately understood what it was. Now y'all, this is the most messed up part. Someone's comment said she might have been assaulted, so of course I asked her about it. She told me to stop right after that, then left the room without any answer. Okay, at this point, we all know something isn't right about this SHT. I'm not going to let it slide, but I'm not going to keep going for now. What should I do? Should I talk to some adults now? Or should I just wait? Comment. User 1. I'm worried that your sister has been sawed, but you should not push her to talk about it. Let her know that you're here to talk if and when she's ready to, and that you will support and believe her. After that, let her open up on her own. Pressuring her will only make her shut down and likely cause her more harm than good. User 2. Okay, but also, what she saw may have traumatized her. But she may not feel it counts because she just saw it without being directly touched. I know someone like this. I'd make it clear that whatever she experienced assault or witnessing sex at too young of a developmental age, you're there to support her. I'm just saying this so she isn't in the odd position of having to be like, well, nothing happened. But this is such a hard topic for me, which is where she may be if she hasn't encoded witnessing sex at age 3 as inappropriate. Comment. User. I wouldn't bring other people into this until she's ready. If something did happen to her, reassure her that you're there for her and affirm that your love for her won't change, no matter what. And make sure she knows you love and support her as best as you can. User. Replying to themselves. I forgot to say that the rest of that SHT is F to hell. Holy crap. I'm sorry, but your dad and mistress are going to hell for doing that right next to a 3-year-old. Update 2. Thank you all for all that advice. I really appreciate it. But I choose not to tell anyone about this if my sister isn't ready. It's been a while since I sat her down. I talked to her today. To be honest, it didn't go easy. A lot of tears, hesitation, and frustration had been going on. But then I finally got her words. I did push her a little. I knew it wasn't right. But if I hadn't, she might never have told me. It turns out that my sister didn't get assaulted. But she got touched in an inappropriate way by our stepfather. This started a few years after my mother remarried our now stepdad, let's call him K. My sister said everything started when she was in 3rd grade. K stayed at home a lot this time because his work got in a little trouble. K would usually call my sister, come close to her, hug her, and bring her to sit on his laps, etc. Then touch her in an inappropriate way. He would touch her on her chest, buttocks, and all over her body. She was a little shy back then, but she also found it weird, but never thought much about it. Eventually, time passed, and she grew up. But things with K never stopped. K would make it into accidents like they bumped into each other in a small place together, etc. My sister never said anything about it, partly because she wasn't sure and partly because she didn't want to ruin our mother's marriage. Then one day things got to breaking point. K came back one day in a drunken state. My mother was upstairs in her room, and my sister was in the living room watching TV by herself. K came into the living room and sat next to her. Nothing happened at first, but then K suddenly pulled my sister closer and brought her to his lap. My little sister, my poor girl, was surprised, shocked, and panicked. But she still tried to play it cool. She tried to make small talk. She tried to pretend stupid to escape. But he held her tight, very tight. Then his hands again roamed all over her body. At this point, she started to yell at him to let her go, but it didn't help. Then rubbed his hands on her chest. Yes, this disgusting pig did that. After a few moments of struggle, he let her go and passed out on the couch. After that day, she was scared to get home and scared to get assaulted, because she knew she wasn't delusional. Then I asked why she didn't tell Mom, and she told me the most unbelievable SHT I ever heard. Eventually, she lived like that for years until she was in 7th grade. One day, when she went to her boyfriend's house for a sleepover, she decided to tell her boyfriend about it. She told her boyfriend not to tell anyone, and she trusted her very much to let her know. This morning, I ran to her mom, telling her every SHT my sister told her after the sleepover, and her best friend's mom at the time was one of our mother's familiar customers. She told my mom about it. Later that day, my mom came home and confronted my sister about it. My sister was hesitant and denied it, but Mom didn't believe her and pushed her to spit it out. Soon, she broke down crying and told her everything, but our mother didn't believe her. Sis was shocked, frustrated, and hurt so bad, she kept insisting it, but Mom still not believe her and called Kay to come in and asked. Of course, Kay denied do anything like that to her, and Mom completely on Kay's side. She started to talk SHT about how well she knew Kay. He was a good person. He never did things like that, etc. Sis said she didn't remember how things went after that, I don't know. But I think it was some kind of mental issue. But remember, she couldn't sleep and went to the living room just to see Mom sitting there crying. Sis felt completely guilty. At that moment, all she could think was that she was the one in the wrong, and that she may have broken her marriage and her happiness. She approached Mom and tried to hug her, but she pushed her away. Things ended that night when Mom said horrible things to her. Both of them cried, and Kay came to comfort them, fake arse mother effer. Not long after that, my sister moved to live with our dad and me. I never knew why, but now I know. I was shocked and furious. I couldn't believe crap like this happened. I never knew how many things my sister had to go through while I was there, thinking we had the most perfect life. I'm now lying on the bed typing this with my sister in my arms. She had been crying a lot, almost uncontrollably. It took me lots of time to comfort her too, but she's asleep now. I was having a hard time keeping myself from crying in front of her. I didn't want her to get worried. She had enough. I don't know, tears RN, it's so hard to keep myself whenever I think about my sister except lived like that JS to keep my mom in her delusional happy marriage. In the end, she still doesn't want Mom to struggle to find another man to treat her right. And she begged me not to bring this up with anyone again. Yes, begged. I don't know what to do now. I will take my little girl to therapy soon, but other than that, I don't know what to do. Sorry for the long post, but I'm struggling. Please give me advice. I need help. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.